Hi, I'm Putri Arina Zahira binti Muhammad Hafiz. Today, I'm going to persuade my audience that we should learn sign language. Sign language should be an importance in our society. Imagine if your friend across you wants to send a message to you, but because of the surrounding being too loud, you cannot hear them. You decided to lip read your friend's mouth and you manage to understand their message. You manage to understand what they want to say to you. Although you understand what is being conveyed, what they want to convey, you still find it hard to understand the entire line, as you only guess and fill in the blanks to figure out what is being said. You try to connect all the words by putting bits and pieces together by the information you receive from lip reading and through your friend's body gesture and facial expression. And then you realize it is a hard process. Right now, imagine how deaf or hard or of hearing person need to go through this every time they want to communicate with people who don't learn sign language. They just want to have a conversation. They just want to communicate with people or having a small conversation with people. But they need to go through this process, this hard process, just because you don't learn sign language. This is why sign language should be learned by everyone. Sign language is a communication through visual understanding using body gesture to convey information. Sign language is a language. Language is important to communicate with another human being in any ways that both parties can understand each other. It is to convey thoughts, to convey feelings, to convey your emotions that can be shared with each other in any forms such as words and ideas. In this video, let me talk about why we should learn sign language. Firstly, sign language makes the communication with the deaf community a lot easier. Sign language is the most effective way to communicate with hearing person who's having disabilities to speak, or deaf person who having disabilities to hear, but they can speak. And sign language is the most effective way. It's the one that you can choose to communicate with these both communities. Malaysia's sign language BIM is the principal language of the deaf community in Malaysia. During 2008, the deaf community, this official sign language that are used by the Malaysian government to communicate with the deaf community was officially recognized by the Malaysian government. When we use sign language to communicate, it helps the deaf community to feel included in the conversation. They will understand what is going on. They will not feel left out anymore, as they can carry along in the conversations. Also, deaf community can express their emotions more, their feelings more, as they knew that there are people who understand them. It is easier for us to understand their emotions by the deaf community through sign language. Learning sign language will break the barrier between normal hearing person and deaf communities. Nowadays, discrimination often take place, especially towards this community who's having disabilities such as being deaf. This action can negatively affect the relationship between both communities. It could separate the hearing and deaf community simply due to people's disability. In Journal of Communication Disorder, Deaf Studies and Hearing Aids stated that there are few barriers in the communication that could create problems and would affect the culture, emotions, and education area. It can drag the deaf community to experience any mental illness, such as depression, as they felt left out in the society. This shows that communication barrier has a huge impact on the deaf community. Moving on to the third point, when you learn sign language, it gives your brain a nice workout. Learning sign language is also as learning a new language. According to Swedish scientists, learning a foreign language can actually increase your brain size, the size of your brain. Besides, people who speak more than one language fluently have better memories. It can enhance your creative thinking skills, it can enhance your memories, your mental retention skills, and more. Lastly, did you know that sign language actually can be very useful when we communicate with babies? We cannot expect a baby or a kid to talk fluently to us, but we can expect them to have some basic communication by using sign language. Actually, they can easily capture and remember more something that they visually see. Basic signs language, for example, hungry, milk, and sleepy, that can be used every day. It is very useful in our daily life. In conclusion, now you finally realize that there are many importance in learning sign language. You started to discover about how much learning sign language can change the society and the world, especially to deaf community. You should remember that no one should be left in the dark, no matter what disabilities they may have. So, let's learn sign language. Everyone deserves to be heard. Thank you.